Thank you so much for joining me. You met with the Chief Whip to say that you'd lost confidence in the Prime Minister yesterday morning. What were your reasons?
Well, it was on Wednesday morning, and really it was just been that breakdown of trust, I think, between Downing Street and the public, with members of Parliament, and even with ministers. And I think the trust had just gone down to such a low level that it would have been impossible to have continued like that, and also difficult to see how we could have rebuilt it without the fresh start of new leadership. I mean, I've been one of Boris Johnson's strongest supporters since he was elected as leader. I campaigned alongside him in the Brexit referendum. I think he's got a huge amount that he can be really proud of from his 3 years as Prime Minister, but I don't think he was in a position to continue to provide the leadership that we really need at such challenging times.
Are you aware of the sort of damage that might do to your party? Because, remember, you were only a few points behind the Labour Party in the polls. But since this has happened, now the Labour Party has stormed ahead.
Yeah, look, I mean, one of the... I've obviously been replying to a lot of emails over the last 6, 8, 9 months during difficult times, where I've been very clear as to the disruption that a leadership contest would do, obviously, to the country, also to our party. The few people would thank us for that kind of disruption. But the priority now needs to make sure that the Conservative Party leadership contest can be concluded as quickly as possible, so that we can have a new Prime Minister in place as soon as possible to start on that really important and quite difficult work of rebuilding trust with the public. And we can only do that through demonstrating that we're delivering on what we promised to do at the last election, when, yes, Boris Johnson won us a huge majority, got a lot of support. But I think we need to be able to demonstrate to voters that we're still both capable and intent on delivering on those promises. And I think too many have felt that we've moved away from that, and the problems within Downing Street were a barrier to us moving back onto tackling those key issues.
Well, it was only a barrier if you made it a barrier, which in the end you all did. Do you think now that any of your leadership hopefuls can actually fill Boris's boots? Because, as I said, you're trailing heavily now behind the Labour Party, and you didn't have to do this yourselves.
Well, I think Boris Johnson had and still has a wide range of talents that very few people in public life in Britain do have. Now, we will have a wide range of candidates. I'm sure a number more will be coming forward over the weekend, each bringing something different. Each will have their strengths and weaknesses. And so we will need to be looking at who's best placed to build on the work that Boris Johnson's done over the last 3 years, to make sure that those people who did vote Conservative for the first time in December 2019 have a reason to vote for a Conservative government again, and also to reassure those more traditional Conservative supporters that voting Conservative is still in their interest and in the nation's interest.